Hi guys, Agrippa Maxentius here, coming at you with another Crusader Kings 2 tutorial, and I know that my last one was really well received. I seriously appreciate all of the interest in it. My next tutorial is going to be about warfare. I had so many people buy the game over the winter holiday with all the Steam sales, and a lot of them were asking me, dude, how do I even take over land? And I'm trying to just explain that in layman's terms. Using a count here, I'm not necessarily going to go to war, I'm just going to explain some very basic things. Now, first of all, if you're going to start as a count, you're starting off with one county. The only way to get a claim is first of all, if you already have a claim on a particular county. So, for instance, we go here to the Petty Kingdom of Munster, which, as we can see, are highlighted. I remember telling you before, the green area is what's basically owned by that particular ruler. So when we go back to our diplomatic relations, we own Desmond. We're going after Ormond over here, and unfortunately it has two counties, but I've done a little cheating myself, and I've gone up here and added a little gold for us. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to go to your council, because the thing about basically warfare in the medieval times is you have to fabricate a claim. You need a reason for attacking, unless, and this is where I don't need to actually go through and show you guys this, unless you are of a different religion. Then you will actually have a religious reason to go, and you can actually declare either a jihad, a crusade, or any number of other things, or just a general holy war without the approval of the Pope, and take that county. Now, in this case, you absolutely have to save your money, guys. I can't tell you how many people have tried to start a war with 100 gold. You're not going to win, especially not with one county. The first thing you need to do is get a good chancer. This guy right here is a diplomatic skill of 8, which is pretty decent. It's not special. We really don't have anyone better to choose from. So we're going to click on Fabricate Claims. We're going to drop him into Ormond. We're going to go ahead and start the game there. Now, what he's going to be doing, basically, is he's going to be trying to get a claim on that territory for us. And once we get a claim on that territory, that's when we can actually start declaring war. And the reason I want to show you this from a count's perspective is the count is the lowest person in the game. And I've managed, plenty of good CK2 players, or even average CK2 players have managed to get from count to king, over a matter of years. Remember, a lot of this is a waiting game. Crusader Kings 2 is not going to happen instantaneously. You have to let things happen on their own. In this case, if we get the claim on Ormond, we're going to go ahead and press that claim. We're going to declare a war, and this is where another very important thing occurs in Crusader Kings 2, which you guys got to be aware of, and that is that your realm levies, especially if you have a county, are not going to be able to overwhelm a larger county. They're just not. As you can see right here, our levies, and our levies are basically what we're getting from our vassals. Back in the medieval times, each vassal, each baron, each bishop, etc. had a small retinue of soldiers that would protect him, guard him, and basically make sure that the peasants under his control would make sure to pay their taxes. And in this case, we do have about 800 men here from our demesne, and that's from our actual city. And our vassals can only provide 59 men, which is not surprising because our vassals consist of a mayor and a bishop, so they have a retinue of about 20 guys each. Which means that when you're a count, when you go to war, you need mercenaries, okay? It's that simple. And a few things about mercenaries, you go down here basically to your mercenaries. You want to go to the bottom of your mercenary list, and you want to look for the cheaper mercenaries. And you don't want to make the mistake of hiring galleys and not men. So real quickly here, guys, I'm going to go ahead and raise my realm levies for you so you see what I have. And while these realm levies are raised, I cannot go to war. You can only go to war without realm levies raised, and once the war begins, that's when you can actually start raising your realm levies and start attacking. So I just want to show you what I have now. About 850 men. Another thing that's very important, you have to make absolutely sure that the morale of your men is raised. You can't just take this army, okay, during a war and charge into Ormond like this. You can't do that. You see this red line next to your numbers? This means that this army's morale is 0 right now. If we were to go into battle against 20 men, we would likely lose. It's just a bad idea. So first things first is you have to let your morale go up. And that can take, who knows, a month, 2 months, 3 months in game. Apparently I was just murdered. But that's okay, we'll keep going. 3 months in game, as we said before, etc. And now we have a fairly formidable force, but once again, the morale is fine, but our numbers are very low. And if we actually were at war with this county over here, they would have probably about 2,000 men, 3,000 men, depending on the size of the county. Like, for instance, as a count, don't ever expect to win a war against a king. The only time you would ever want to go to war with England or Scotland is if you were able to become king of Ireland, because you would have all the realm levies from each individual county here. And, We don't know how much that would be, but it would be a significant amount of men. Now, what we would want to do in a war like this, so we want to go right to our military, and we want to go to our mercenaries. We're going to go to the bottom, to the cheaper ones. Make sure you're not getting galleys. Look over here. If it says 100 and shows ships, you're not hiring men, you're hiring galleys. You don't want that. The cheapest mercenaries that I found are 75 gold. Now, the problem about mercenaries, guys, is you want to make sure to have 500 and not just the 75 that it costs, because mercenaries cost money every single turn, and I'm going to show you how that works. You guys can see that my gold is at 578 right now. I'm going to hire 2 mercenary bands. I'm going to hire Thursatel's Saxon band, and I'm going to hire Richard's Scottish band. And as you can see, our army is now formidable. We actually now have enough men that if we wanted to go to war with these enemies, we would easily be able to conquer them. But first, we would need that de jure claim. Now, once that de jure claim comes up, you'll get a message saying, I have managed to fabricate a claim. Your chancellor will say that, and he'll ask you if you want to use that claim. And if you press yes, you now have a reason to attack your enemy. Now, a lot of things come into play here. This is why this is just a basic military guide. Now, we are a lone count. We have no dukes or kings to look up to ask permission to attack. Now, if we were in England, for instance, and let's say we were Earl Elthwood of Leicester here. If we wanted to attack Lincoln, it would very much depend on the Crown Authority laws within that particular country. Now, if the Crown Authority laws were above medium, we would never be able to attack Lincoln, no matter how many fabricated claims we got. So you've got to keep that in mind. Sometimes you just have to wait. Sometimes you have to wait for a big revolt until the Crown Authority drops, and then you have to make your move. So I really go back to keep saying that Crusader Kings 2 is a waiting game. You know, if you don't have patience, you're not going to like this game. But if you do have patience, this game pays off. Not one game of Crusader Kings 2 is the same. Everything, and I mean everything, every single game is different. It's just amazing. And so that's kind of my basic tutorial there on military. As you guys can see, I just want you to look at my gold. You see how quickly my gold is dwindling. And once that gold dwindles, those mercenaries will get pissed and may or may not declare war on you. They're going to want something in return. And if you don't have gold, they're probably going to take a county. So you need to make sure that you can win the war. Not only hire enough troops to win the war, but you need to make sure that you have enough money to pay those troops. Now, at some point, we would have moved these troops into Ormond. At this point, we didn't actually get the claim, so we're not doing that. But we would have to besiege this settlement. And by besieging, all I mean is you leave your troops in this location. So let's say we were at war with Ormond. You would leave your troops here, and they would automatically besiege. Nothing you guys have to do in your part. If you want to assault the holding, that's going to be covered in my advanced military strategy tutorial. But basically, that's all you need to know. And as long as your troops can besiege that settlement, and sometimes it takes 2 to 3 sieges, that could take anywhere from a few months to a year, you need to make sure you have enough money to pay off those mercenaries. And as you can see, we're in October now, and I just want to see how long would these mercenaries actually last before we ran out of money. We're in November, we're in December, we are in January, we are in February, and by this point, we would probably at least win 1 siege. So with 500 gold, you would probably be pretty well off to go ahead and take a county and successfully take it. So my suggestion would be, if you guys are playing as an Irish count, or if you're playing in an area with counties, or even if you're just a duke, make sure you have at least 350 gold, and make sure that your enemies aren't necessarily a lot bigger than you. Make sure they're either equal to your size, smaller than you, or just a little bit bigger. Never try to attack a kingdom, because you'll never ever have enough manpower to take it over until you have that manpower yourself. And you've got to do that little by little. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe, and take a look at my other tutorial, which is basically on my front page of my profile. Thank you so much.